imagine in the UK, have you heard of Oxford and Cambridge? Yeah? Those are the top university, Warwick University, Good University. Yeah? You have a chunk of students who go there and they will be successful, and part of the reason is they've been to those universities. Yeah? They have a certain work ethic, right? And the fact they can say, I went to Oxford or Cambridge. That does not mean that students at any other university cannot be successful as well. Yeah? Because you imagine this scenario. You get first class as a classification for your bachelor's. You spend some period of time working in a company, okay? Good experience, so that makes your CV, your curriculum vitae, your biodata, whatever you call it, a bit more better, a bit more interesting, a bit more useful to the employer. You then, in your final year, come in and you do a final year project. Imagine if you were able to do that project for an employer, for a company. Suddenly you've got some real valid work experience where you've put theoretical knowledge, right, into practical experience. You've discussed it as an academic exercise. Then you get your first class at the end. So your CV says, I got a first or a 2-1 as a classification. I did work experience for this company. I also was able to do my final year dissertation project for this particular company. Doesn't that make you more employable? Doesn't that allow you to fulfill your dreams, right? Doesn't that make your mother proud? Yeah? Okay, should we start the presentation? Okay. So what we want is a type of work experience which is relevant to a student's degree. Okay? So if you're doing mechanical engineering, you want to be able to do something that's relevant to that degree. Because what we're saying is, we have students, well, I always give the story about a student comes and says, I want to work for, in the UK, the company called Group 4 Security. They provide security services. If you're a computing student, then it's, you know, if you say we want some sort of accredited work experience with Group 4, right, then it's no good if all you're going to be doing for them is being a security guard. If you're going to be working on their IT systems, then it makes it more relevant, the work experience, because it's aligned to your actual degree. So we want some work experience relevant to a student's degree, which gives practical application of theoretical knowledge gained while studying. Does that make sense? Is that a reasonable definition? Yes? Now, the actual work experience you could do is it could be for a full academic year, right? So we have within our university, within our faculty, we have a program that students take, which is it's called professional training. So while they're working, they've found themselves in industrial placement, they've been offered a contract, etc. We've approved it. They will spend a full academic year. In some cases, it could be more. Yeah, they could start in July time, and they could wrap around all the way, so it could be 12 months. Okay? We are looking at trying to find students short periods of work over the summer, and there may be some other models that other institutes or universities use. Okay? The location where students could go, we have a majority of our placements are within the UK. I've had 2 students previously where I supervised. One was in Berlin, and one was in Limoges, which is in France, middle of France somewhere. So I was their placement tutor, so I had to go and fly to Berlin. It was tiring, actually. Well, I did day trip to Berlin and day trip to Limoges. Okay? Our particular work experience, in other words, industrial placement, we actually give students credit for. Okay? So basically, they're actually studying a stage 2 or a second year module, 250 EC. Okay? So the above may change, but the label given to work experience, right, could be, you could either call it an internship, okay? You could call it an industrial placement. It may be a summer work experience, or it could be a study abroad. All of these experiences, or a set of those experiences, will change your perspective, all right, in terms of what you've studied and how you are as a student. Because you imagine, I know from experience that I've taught, I used to teach business simulation, right, to final year bachelor's students. And I handed out the assignment to to these final year students, and there was a lot of, oh my God, this is so hard, how are we going to cope with it attitude. One student just sat there calmly and read it, and I said, are you okay? He said, yes, I'm going to get on with it. He'd spent a year working in industry, right? His attitude to dealing with this kind of work was completely different from students who had not worked in industry. Does that make sense? Any questions? Anyone bored? Right. So, there are 3 people involved in this relationship, okay? The relationship is effectively the university, the student, i.e. you guys, and companies, businesses, organizations, right? So, if we just look at you students, from questions that need to be asked for students is what is an internship? Who understood before this what an internship was? Who has got a bit more understanding of what an internship could be? No one. Failed the lecture.
Maybe if we ask them in Serbian.
Okay, you ask them. Will you ask them?
Okay.
Go on.
Da li ste razumeli o čemu se radi? I šta je prevod student internship na srpski?
Praksa. Stjecanje prakse. Studentska praksa koja se odvije tokom školske godine.
Okay. I think they understood.
Yeah, good, thank you. In summary. So you've got what is an internship, what's an industrial placement, and what are the benefits of an internship, okay? How much work are they already undertaking? It could be that some of you, is anybody working while they're studying? What do you do? Okay, hands up if you're working while studying, all 3 of you, right? What are you doing? Speak to the brother if you wish.
Neko što je u firmu radim preko vikenda ja... Da. Da mi žele bio baš u Africi, pa sam onda sam počeo raditi s radnicima i da...
It's a private company.
It's a private company?
Working for a private company over the weekend.
Doing what? What do you do for this company?
Hydraulics and pneumatics.
Doing?
Hydraulics and pneumatics. It's mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Proper mechanical, but what do you construct?
Cilindre pravimo razne neke...
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing, okay. What do you do?
Selling life insurance policies.
Selling insurance, okay. And yourself?
I'm doing... radim isto za privatnu firmu. Crtam elektroprojekt. Projects.
Drawing, professional drawing.
CAD, computer-aided design.
Computer-aided design or something like that.
Okay. So we've had 3 students out of 25 to 20 students, right, who are working in companies in their own time. So one is working in a private company to do with hydraulics and pneumatics. You're selling insurance, and you are involved in computer-aided design. Is that right? What's the name of the company? Would you mind sharing?
Projecting. Projecting.
Okay.
It's working with electricity. Example, there is a building and there is some electrical engineer came and get over, I don't know, lights, all electricity you need. And
Okay.
my job is to make on 2D.
2D diagrams.
2D diagram and all draw all that components.
Okay. What software do you use?
I use ArcCAD.
And did you learn that software at the university?
No, I myself.
Okay, so listen, what's your name?
Nemanja.
Huh?
Nemanja.
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 And
It's simply simply call me proxy, like proxy, like server.
Okay. Proxy's learnt a piece of software which wasn't taught within the university. Okay?
Sorry, must correct you. Some of the software I learned here helped me to study.
Fine,
this.
but you've pushed it and you've gone further than what you would have learned here.
Some.
Yeah? In a practical experience.
Yeah.
What about yourself? What's the name of the company that you work for?
Generali assicurazione.
Okay.
It's international one.
Yeah.
So you're working for an international company, and yours is it national or international?
National.
National. And what about your private company? Are they national or international?
International.
And what are they called?
Hydroventum.
Okay. Hydroventum. So we've already got 3 companies, right, of which 2 are international and 1's national, involved, right, and where this student, and maybe yourself, actually you're doing something interesting as well. You are putting ArchiCAD, whatever it's called,
No.
putting work using the software on a real project.
Yeah.
And isn't that good for your curriculum vitae, your CV, or your biodata?
I'm planning to do 2 jobs, like mechanical engineering and start that private job for extra money. This is what learning and doing is helping me to get some connection with other people, to make to learn some other softwares and to update my knowledge of ArchiCAD. But I primarily like to work with CATIA, with some project that with programs we learn in this facility.
Fine, that's good. Yourself, who sells insurance, are you selling it in English or in Serbian?
Serbian.
Serbian, okay. And yours is an international company or a local national company? Is it a Serbian company, yes?
It's international company,
Okay,
but I do it only in Serbia.
okay. Now, as engineers, one of the criticisms made is that they know theory, but the ability to communicate very effectively is lacking, right? Now, you're going to be getting excellent experience, right, in being able to communicate, talk to customers in a proper manner. So that's good for you, and it's good, and it's something that you should put in your CV. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
So, because what they talk about is hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are clearly CATIA, programming, stuff about pneumatics, formulae. Soft skills are being able to give a presentation, writing a report, communication. And those are the skills that employers are seeking. Okay, let's go move forward.
Sorry, can you explain me where is the drawing the hard
skills.
Where is that hard skill?
It's just defined as being a hard skill.
Uh-huh.
The technical skills. That's one. Yeah. Right. If we look at companies, right, we need to understand what is their understanding of an internship. Is it the same as yours? So for some companies, they may not come across the idea of an internship. For others, it's something they do quite regularly. And I suspect a lot of the international, multinational companies, a lot of the American ones, a lot of the British ones, already know about internships. So if you were looking for an internship, one of the suggestions I'd make is maybe approach an international company, maybe approach one of the British companies or one of the European companies, because that's in their thinking already. Okay? This is a point we covered earlier on. It may be that the company doesn't want to take a student right now, but at some point later, they may suddenly say, actually, I want to take a student on an internship, right? Then the question for the university becomes, who do they approach? So, if his company approaches your university, who would they approach?
I don't know. Who would they approach? Yeah, at the university.
So I'm a company, right? I suddenly think, what's the mechanism?
At the university, it is maybe career development center as speaking some university facility which is maybe responsible for such contact. At faculty, it is mainly up to Vice Dean for teaching and education.
Okay. What we've established is within each faculty we've got one phone number, which will direct us to somebody who could support that type of things. We've also got an email address, so we've got a dedicated email address. Maybe you could establish something like that. At least it means that all contact gets to one central location.